There was some fog. Now the sun's starting to come up. What are you seeing? What are the changes that you're noticing?
Well, I've been saying for the last few days, anytime we have a weather impact day, anytime there's a dense fog advisory, road conditions can quickly turn dangerous. And I have a number of crashes to report. Let's take a live look outside. This is I-310 at Airline Highway. And as you can see, fog is still very dense. We're starting to get a little peep of sunlight, so it's kind of giving us a better view of what's happening out there on the roadways. But as you see here, it looks not great. Now, I do have reports of a crash involving multiple vehicles on I-310 southbound. This is the Luling Bridge, so Destrehan, Hahnville, Luling. Y'all need to take another route this morning and or be prepared for some heavy impacts. And I've literally been watching this thing, y'all, on I-310 southbound. The congestion there is starting to grow, so you'll want to be aware of that. Then over in St. James Parish, this is LA 3125 heading westbound near Highway 70. And as you can see, the congestion there is only getting worse. If you're wondering why my map doesn't continue, that's because parts of this area are Ascension Parish. The other parts are St. James Parish. This part is St. James. Working to get as much information as I can, y'all. You need to be aware. Dense fog is in the area. Use those low beams. Louisiana State Police confirming the spillway in I-55, certainly under our convoy right now. And I-310, they're watching it close. They're monitoring it, and they may go ahead and implement a convoy there. Looking at the Bonnie Carey Spillway, I-10 mile marker 210, mile marker 218. I mean, y'all can see it, that the fog is still very, very thick. I would absolutely give myself some extra time this morning, and you should know that there are rolling convoys northbound and southbound on the Causeway Bridge. I know that's a lot of information. The delay so far on the bridge, on the Causeway Bridge, not as bad as it could be. Yesterday it was peaking up to 20 minutes. That's not that bad to add another 10, 15 minutes to your ride this morning. But this is I-310. And as you can see, the fog is very thick. That makes it dangerous. It's 6:03. As things continue to develop, I'll be the first to let you know before you go on this Thursday morning.
And Brandi, we also
great out there, Raven, and kind of like what you just said, west of us, and I don't mean the West Bank, I mean the west of the Bonnie Carey Spillway is where I'm starting to see it the worst. This is LA 70 and LA 44, partly St. James, partly Ascension Parish. You should be approaching the Sunshine Bridge, but look, it looks like they're driving through a cloud. There's actually a lot of sugarcane fields on the side of that, and you see how dense the fog is, and I'm watching it here, and like I said, west of us is where I'm really seeing it the worst, down to about a quarter mile of visibility. But the big news right now, I do have a crash that's on I-310 southbound at the Luling Bridge. Louisiana State Police tell me there's multiple cars. Look at the congestion and delays. This is right on the top of the Luling Bridge. So Hahnville, Destrehan, all of the folks over there, Luling, make sure you are prepared to either take another route. You either want to take River Road on either side of the bridge to take another route, like the Sunshine Bridge if you have to go that way. Just make sure you are prepared. Looking at the Bonnie Carey Spillway, this is mile marker 210, mile marker 218.6. Louisiana State Police also telling me that they had a convoy going across the spillway and on I-55. You'll want to be prepared for that. But for right now, that the sun is coming up, we may be seeing some improvements. It's averaging 65 miles an hour, so that's some good news for all of our drivers. Same thing in the NO Metro, I-10 at Williams, I-610 at Canal Boulevard. Things look really, really good in the metro area, but around the water, that's where we're definitely seeing, like the Chalmette Ferry is out of service due to the fog. So it's 6:21. I'm going to make sure that everybody's on time this morning. The big thing you need to know, give yourself some extra time. I'll be back in a few minutes with much more that you need to know on this very, very foggy start to your Thursday morning.
Brandi, as they head out the door, besides, you know, just running into some thick fog.
Before they head out the door, I would leave extra early. I give myself 10, 15 or more minutes this morning to get on the roadways. And it's because of conditions like this. This is I-310 at US 61 or Airline Highway. And the reason why I'm showing you this is because the congestion from that crash at the top of the Luling Bridge, almost reaching Airline Highway. So right when you get past that airline interchange, you're going to start to see those red brake lights. Again, that's southbound on I-310. And according to state police, it's the top of the Luling Bridge. And LSP wants me to remind you of this. Low beams. Okay, that's your fog lights. Reduce your speed and increase that following distance. Since I've been watching the traffic cameras across the spillway, across I-55, I can see the blue flashing lights from Louisiana State Police slowing folks down and convoying them across in both directions. So this is the NO Metro, I-10 at Williams. Actually, not as bad as we saw yesterday. I-610 at Canal Boulevard. Really free and clear. I would say green light across the metro area, but I do want to remind you that there's a rolling fog convoy in place northbound and southbound on the Causeway Bridge. Make sure you're prepared for that. And because of that, you're going to want to add about 20 minutes to your drive on southbound. You know, DOTD tells me about 30,000 people take the Causeway Bridge each and every day, so you'll want to be aware of that. And I think Raven Richard is over here pointing to me because there's a lot of congestion over there at the Causeway Toll Plaza, and I'm seeing it right there at the Causeway southbound area. So North Shore, I-12 at I-55 interchange, I-12 west of Highway 11. There's a lot going on out there on the roadways, and you're going to want to be safe. This is the twin span right dab in the middle. This is mile marker 256. Hands at 10 and 2, low beams. I'll be back in a few minutes with much more you need to know.
And Brandi, thank you.
Sending things over to Brandi.
All right, thanks, Raven. It is 6:49. There's quite a bit going on. I believe this is from Storm Patrol 6, where they are approaching the Luling Bridge. You can see the fog is still happening there. You can also see the congestion and delays, and that is exactly what I'm seeing on the map. I-310 southbound at the Luling Bridge is where that crash is. One lane is reportedly open. That's according to the St. Charles Parish Sheriff's Office. And as you can see, the congestion, the delays, the slowdown, whatever you want to call it, now approaching Airline. I'm still not seeing it on the I-310 and US 61 interchange cameras, but of course I'm keeping a close eye, and you just saw the delays there. Looking at the West Bank, I do have a crash on the West Bank. This is on General de Gaulle heading westbound near West Bend Parkway. It is causing quite the bit of congestion on General de Gaulle. I know de Gaulle gets very busy in the morning. You're going to want to either take another route or pack your patience this morning and be prepared to sit in it. I do want to remind you, this is I-10 at mile marker 212 on the Bonnie Carey Spillway. We're already seeing that congestion build where I-55 southbound merges with I-310, I-10 eastbound. Dense fog is still out there. LSP has fog convoys on the spillway and on I-55, both directions. Causeway Bridge, fog convoys, both directions. Go ahead and expect delays. I would add 15, 20 minutes or more to my Causeway Bridge commute this morning, so make sure you're prepared for that. But looking at the NO Metro, this is I-10 at Oak Harbor and Slidell. You can see the fog still very thick and even thicker when you get to the Twin Span this morning. New Orleans, well, y'all seen a lot of sunshine all across the metro area. I-10 at Williams, I-10 at Norman C. Francis. The concern here this morning are for the folks around that water, and I'm seeing it roll through New Orleans East. Look at the high-rise bridge, y'all. You can't even see it, but this should be folks coming down on I-10 westbound this morning. So everybody buckle up. Everybody drive safely. Drive times are starting to get bumped up. We'll have much more coming up right here on WDSU. News 656, I-310 southbound at LA 48 or exit 6 completely shut down as a result of the crash I've been telling you about for about an hour or so. That's a look at I-310 61 interchange. As you can see here on the map, it's happening right on the top of the Luling Bridge. I had reports that it was one lane open. Now we're learning that the congestion has already reached Airline Highway and that crashes at the top of the Luling Bridge. Pack your patience, y'all. Looking at the NO Metro, I-10 at Williams facing westbound, I-10 at Norman C. Francis, nothing but sunshine across the greater part of the metro area. But those areas close to water, totally different story. This is the high-rise bridge, averaging 45 miles an hour coming out of New Orleans East. Y'all, please be safe. Drive times are bumped up for pretty much everybody. And again, we're taking a live look outside. This is I-310 at US 61 or Airline Highway interchange. Heavy backups. The fog can be very dangerous.